Dr. Michael McMorrow coming to you live from the sanctuary here at the Center for Spiritual Living in Granada Hills. We're located in the North San Fernando Valley. We are a faith community who welcomes their beliefs, beliefs or share their beliefs in faith and love. And so if this is your first time joining us, welcome. We're joined with some friends here in the house as well. And so if you are local here in the Granada Hills area, maybe you'll come and keep us company, because it's always more fun to either learn to meditate or to meditate with others. There's a certain energetic about that. And I know that I certainly feel that. Even with you joining us online, there's still some kind of a connection going on there. So welcome. Our presider this evening is Reverend Kathy Lyons, and so we'll be hearing from her in just a moment. But for now, we're going to bring down the lights and take a deep breath and just release the busyness of the day as we come together for our call to service, which we call lighting the flames of faith. And we perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples, all faiths, all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence, which we call spirit. That fundamental to this truth is a unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here this evening. So as Reverend Kathy lights the first candle, it's for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the second candle for shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the third candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. The fourth candle we light for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. The fifth candle we light for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. The sixth candle we light for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the seventh candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. The 10th candle we light for all forms of new thought. That's the 9th candle for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. The 10th candle we light for all those who are as yet unaware of the power and presence of spirit in their lives, and for the space we hold for them here in our sanctuary, within our online community, and of course within our own hearts. And as Reverend Kathy lights a healing candle, remembering those places where there's conflict in the world, in Ukraine, in Israel, Gaza, perhaps in your own heart, please put silently into the light the names of anyone you wish to have experienced the healing flame of God's eternal love.
I'm thankful, so grateful. I'm one with the Spirit all around me. I'm thankful, so grateful. I God.
So join me, please, as I speak in the first person for each one here, as I recognize this presence, this power, this infinite intelligence that I call God, and that God is pure love, trust, peace, and surrender. And I am one with God, one with its love, peace, trust, and surrender. So right here, right now, I just turn away from all the busyness of the week, the day, even the last hour, as I just center myself on this divine, loving presence which is within me and everywhere present, because I know that because the presence of God is everywhere, because God is all that there is, I just know that I embody pure love. I trust in everything that I need to know, and I just surrender to the highest good, knowing and affirming that I just have this peace within. And I declare that this meditation is a perfect idea in the mind of God, that I just open my heart and mind to whatever I need to know. So I just experience this peace, this love, this trust every day and every way. And so how grateful I am for Reverend Mike, for everyone here at the center and online. And I give thanks that for this peace and love and trust that I have within. So, with deep gratitude, I release my word to the law of mind. I know it is done, I know it is so, and so it is. Good evening, everyone. Today is Easter week. Last week was the first day of spring. So to me, this time of year is a time of renewal. It's a time of going out of the dark. We're into more extended daylight. The weather is warmer. So it's just a time, I always feel re-energized at this time. And I think it's a good idea, too, to in this time of renewal, that know that we can get out of that that doing mode and be in more of a being mode. That's the important thing about rejuvenating ourselves. I found this quote from Gina Greenlee: "Treasure yourself for being, not doing." And doing is when we're in the hustle bustle and we're talking about goals and what we need to do to achieve them and working and accomplishing things. And there's nothing wrong with that. But sometimes the being comes first. I know that I often had an idea that I had to constantly be doing, achieving, and that was how my self-worth was coming from. And no, we're not going to be rewarded or loved for what we do. It's just how we're being. Am I feeling good about myself? Am I feeling love? And I emanate that love and friendships to others, so I get it in return. Being is living in the present moment. And that's what I think the purpose of meditation is, that art of being and surrendering. And when I'm in the meditation mode or prayer, I'm not trying to figure things out, because I know that there's that higher self, that divine mind that can reveal that. And then the doing steps become easier. And I thought I would end with this quote. It's called In Stillness, and it's by Karen Nowicki, and I'll share part of her poem. In stillness, I find strength in letting go, release the grip on what I thought I'd sow. No more burden of relentless speed. I'm in the state of just allowing indeed. So I invite everyone to just allow, quit trying to figure it out, quit trying to move and think you've got to strive, and just allow. Just be in that moment of allowing, surrendering, and being open and receptive. And so it is.
So it is. Are you going to give us a few announcements there, Rep?
Oh my goodness.
For our friends online?
Yes, I do have announcements. Got a lot of fun things going on here at the center. There's the sound bath with Katrina Boca, and that's this Friday, March 29th at 7 p.m. Easter egg hunt, rain or shine, this Easter Sunday, March 31st, after the second service. Contact Reverend Nicole for information. This Easter, we're also having a potluck after the second service, so bring your favorite dish. Is there somebody coordinating this?
Yeah. Call into the office and we'll put whatever you're bringing
Yeah,
on the
just,
list.
you can call Melissa in the office. We had a fantastic potluck a couple of weeks ago, so don't miss out. Reverend Mike is teaching a class beginning Tuesday on April 2nd, Powering Your Decisions, and it's at 6:30 p.m. Sign up in Sparks Hall or contact Melissa for registration. TLC Mind Body Healing Workshop with Reverend Melissa Philpre and Reverend Z. Egloff on Sunday, April 14th. Sign up in Sparks Hall or see ticket information in our newsletter. Visioning, that's another class coming up, and that's with Reverend Dr. Maureen, and that starts Thursday, April 18th. Again, you can sign up in Sparks Hall or contact Melissa in our office. And this is something that's been going on, children's beginning drums and beginning guitar, theater and Tai Chi meditation. It's ongoing and open, and if you would like to sponsor a child, please contact Reverend Nicole or Melissa in the office. And we also have practitioners. If you ever want to have a session with a practitioner, if you don't have a practitioner, I urge you to hire one, and you can find out at CSLGH.org. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. So today is Holy Week, so here at the center we like to honor all religious traditions, and so this is a unique week within the Christian calendar, at least the Roman Western Christian calendar, because in the Eastern tradition, they're a week beyond us. So tomorrow in the Christian calendar is Holy Thursday, also known as Maudry Thursday, which has in its tradition the honoring of those in vocation, particularly in more traditional churches with priests and ministers, of which we have. So I would like to just take a moment to acknowledge all the ministers that we have here within our own center, and how this ministry here that we call the Center for Spiritual Living here in Granada Hills really is a co-creation with about all of us. And so for people anywhere who are following their calling in serving faith communities of any kind, I just want to acknowledge that. We have a priest in our family. I think this is Willie's 53rd year as a priest. And that's amazing. So I've had a few friends who've had lifetime vocations like that. But for myself, I had to go out to the far country for a while before I stepped into this gig. But I really appreciate those who've given their, like my pal, Stephen Amsden, right? Susan's husband, Stephen, who gave his entire working life as a congregational minister. So it's a lot of good people doing good work out there in the world. I also wanted to share from this book today, Eager to Love, staying within this idea of Holy Week, which the Franciscan priest / monk Richard Rohr has written. It's kind of a love story to Francis of Assisi. He was he started the Franciscan order in the early 1200s. It was an order committed to serving the poor and the sick. He was known as and he is known, one of the few recognized mystics, which is kind of a trans-denominational recognition. For he really saw he's one of the first to really see the transparency that where we are all one. So animals, all of creation was brother and sister, right? Brother sun, sister moon, that idea. And so he writes that Francis was one of the first ones who tried to break through this notion that God is out there somewhere, separate from us, and rather is something that is who we are. It's that the divine, the spirit is deep within us. So he writes, but most do not know this. Most people do not know that God is within. But he writes that God cannot be found out there until God is first found in here, within ourselves. As Augustine had profoundly expressed in his Confessions in many ways, then we can almost naturally see God in others and in all of creation too. For what you seek is what you are. What you seek is what you are. The search for God, the search for our true self, are finally the same search. Francis's all-night prayer, "Who are you, O God, and who am I?" Is probably a perfect prayer because it is the most honest prayer we can offer. And so he writes that the practice then is to remain in love, that a heart transformed by this realization of oneness with the divine knows that only love in here can spot and identify love out there. So it's that which is held within us, we can then recognize it outside of ourselves. Fear, constriction, and resentment are seen by spiritual teachers to be inherent blindness. So these are the blind spots that make us think that there's a separation going on. These emotions cannot really get us anywhere and are not anywhere good. Thus, all mystics are positive people. Mystics are all positive people because this is an aspect of being a mystic. Their spiritual warfare is precisely the work of recognizing and then handing over all of their inner negativity and fear to God. Their spiritual warfare is precisely the work of recognizing and handing over all of their inner negativity and fear to God. The great paradox here is that such a victory is a total gift from God, and yet somehow we must want it very much. So the central practice then in Franciscan mysticism is that we must remain in love, which is, there were only the two greatest commandments, right? In fact, that God, is love is the greatest commandment, that we are called to love. And it's only when we are eager to love can we see love and goodness in the world around us, that we must ourselves remain in peace. And then we will see and find peace over there. Remain in beauty, and we will honor beauty everywhere. This is the concept of remaining or abiding, which moves all religion out of any esoteric realms of doctrinal outer space where it has been for far too long and then lost. There is no secret moral command for knowing or pleasing the divine, or what some call salvation, beyond becoming a loving person in mind, heart, body, and soul ourselves. Then we will see what we need to see. This teaching is so central that we made it the title of this book, that we must be very eager to love. So, in this teaching, we talk about practicing this notion of oneness. Really what we're practicing, but it would sound a little weird, is that we're all learning to be lovers, right? In appropriate ways, right? Learning to be lovers without, that, because our own stuff within is healed to where we can love without having any attachments, right? Any expectations of its return. And I have to say that's a lot easier to say than to practice, right? Because even parental love, which I think is the most natural kind of love we are called to, even then sometimes that can be conditional, right? So it's like we love our kids more when they behave, kind of thing, right? And yet there is still that instinctual thing where we love them even when they're having a fit in the grocery store. So I wonder if we can do that as adults, right? To be loving towards others even as they're having a fit over the political arena, or a fit because we cut them off or they cut us off in traffic, right? If you just think about some of the irritations that happen in our daily exchanges with each other, there's plenty to work with. At least I find plenty to work with. So this is where meditation can be such a invaluable tool, because in meditation is just simply paying attention and focusing the mind, allowing so much so that the mind begins to still. And one of the results of that practice, there are many advantages or benefits to meditation, but for me, because I'm kind of a reactive guy, and for those of us who still find me pretty reactive, all I can say is you should have known me when. Because I am a much more responsive person today, certainly than I was 5, 10, and certainly 20 or 30 years ago. So let's do that. That's enough yakking. But I just wanted to bring this, our focus to this idea of abiding in love, particularly as we go through the rest of this season. I've been doing this Facebook reset starting, I guess, 6 weeks ago on Ash Wednesday. So there's just a few more days left with this practice where we are practicing resetting the day and then recommitting from noontime on to find ways of bringing bringing loving kindness and compassion into our awareness, and then sharing that. And in that sharing, then encouraging others to join us as well. So, we're going to meditate now. So let's just start by getting ourselves comfortable, get our wiggles and jiggles out of the way, checking our seat. So we want to have a nice solid base in which to start from. And you can have your hands in your lap. Now I kind of lock them together, which isn't, the perfect practice. Some say have your hands loose. Just all depends on what's comfortable for you. And then all we're going to do is pay attention to the movement of the breath in the nostril. And then if we're going to do that, and we're just breathing easily and naturally. We're not forcing anything. We're not counting, although some people do count. But I'm just going to encourage you to just focus your attention on the breath. And then as you get into that, then focus your attention. See if you can detect the movement of your breath on your upper lip. And you'll see that the mind will begin to still. So we're not like, I'm going to stop thinking. We're not doing that. We're just focusing the breath and observing what arises. Then if we find we attach to it, then we can just simply take a deep breath. And on the exhale, releasing, and then we simply go back to the movement of the breath in the nostril again, and then focusing on the upper lip. So that's where we're headed. So we just release any attachment to, I'll keep track of the time, so you don't have to worry about that. And just to allow ourselves to be. So let's just start by taking a deep conscious breath together. And release. Feel on that exhale, we're just detaching from the day. Breathing through the nostril. Focusing our attention on the movement of the breath, the inhale, the exhale. Focus our attention on the breath, bringing our attention to the movement of our tummy with the breath. So the tummy is loose, just allowing it to expand on the inhale. And just to called following the breath when we pay attention to our breath. breath, bringing our attention to the bottom of our feet on the floor. Leg, just scanning for sensation. Lower leg. Sometimes we can twist our knees a little bit, so if that's the case, just make that adjustment. Following the breath. To the thighs, the upper thigh. The back of the leg into the sit bones. Bringing our attention to the sit bones, following the breath. We'll take a couple of breaths here. Rises and falls easily, without effort. The spine is erect but free of tension, balanced over the sit bones. Head balanced over the spine, chin slightly down, shoulders slightly back. So this should be a comfortable posture. Breathe. Take a deep breath together. And on the exhale, feel your face drop as we bring our attention to the exhale now. Each release of the breath, fall deeper into a meditative state. Again, if we catch ourselves thinking, we don't get tense. It's just what's happening. Take a deep breath. Release the breath. Release that thought. Return back to the movement of the breath in the nostril. Do this as often as you need to. Deep breath. Release, the final release as we move into the silence now for about 15 minutes. breath. Breathing into the heart center now. Allowing the indwelling presence, love itself, to grow in our awareness of its infinite aspects that are already present. So we see the flame of the divine within the heart center, fanning that flame with the breath. Allowing that flame to grow in brilliance and intensity from a light into a ball of fire at the very heart center. Expanding with each in-breath. The same way that you would inflate a balloon. So with each in-breath, we feel the expansion of light and love within the heart center. Expansion of the heart itself, extending now beyond the body, torso, side to side, front to back, top to bottom. Now sitting in this globe, this field of light and love. Continuing to expand with the breath. Commingling now, this light commingling with our friends here in the sanctuary. Following the breath, extending now, reaching beyond time and space, connecting with our friends online. We feel an open-heartedness. You feel a heart that is open to the world. A heart that is experiencing a circulation with the love of life and the life of love. So from this place of love then, knowing that this love expression is the oneness of the universe, that we are one with the infinite power and presence of the Most High, that we are knowing there is but one power, one presence, one source, one life, this living intelligence, the wellspring of love itself. And so as we bring to mind our own cares, concerns, and tensions for this healing moment, calling them to mind, we take a deep breath and feel their release into this field of light and love, as we know together that this expression, this energetic of light and love, is aligning, is vibrating at this deepest aspects of self, that every atom, every molecule, every cell, every organ, every muscle, every bone, the circulatory system, the respiratory system, every neuron is aligning with and firing as a pattern of perfection that is radiant good health. That we are expressing radiant good health, a sense of strength, vitality, and love. That our, from this place of open-heartedness, that our minds are now infused with new, creative, and dynamic ideas that have within them the solution to any seeming challenge. We take a deep breath, Release that, knowing it is now firmly anchored within our consciousness, that it is retrieved either in the present moment or in the dream state this evening, or unfolds through the day, that we get this big aha idea that we know from this open-hearted state that our relationships, both within the home, within our businesses, within the office, that we understand that others too are awakening to their own expression of the divine. And so we release any attachment to how we think people should be, and instead recognize the divine within. This is particularly true with those with whom we seem to be in conflict with, that we're releasing even that idea. Taking a deep breath and release that. So in this way, we know that we are one with all of life. As we release all the cares, concerns, intentions, aspirations to that aspect of the mind of the divine itself that knows only to say yes as a law of its own being. So one more breath. From that final release, with a deep sense of gratitude for the many blessings in our life, and from this place of gratitude, we just release it. In gratitude and confidence, knowing it is done. So for those of us here in the sanctuary, that we leave here tonight knowing that we have been shifted and lifted, that the crooked ways have now been made straight. As we make our way home this evening, that we arrive home safely and in good order. That as we make our way through the rest of our evening, we arrive to our beds, our head hits the pillow, we drift off easily to sleep, sleeping deeply, restfully, dreaming sweet dreams, that we awaken feeling fully rested, restored, revitalized, with a sense of excitement, of vim and vigor, and a zest for life. So one more final breath. And just feel the release as we're letting it all go. Let it all be so. And together we acknowledge this by saying, so it is. Amen. So thank you for joining us tonight. So it is Easter Sunday. So if you're here locally and you don't have any other place to go, you might have detect that we look at such things with from a metaphysical perspective. So we'll be sharing that kind of message along with great music. We have the choir in this week along with Teresa James. And our man Saul is going to be playing the drums. And so it will be a celebration this Sunday, and then we'll have a potluck. So if you can bring something to share, that'd be great. And also for the kids or the kids at heart, we have an Easter egg hunt as well. Right, so until then, know that you're loved, peace and blessings, and we'll see you next time.